You've probably heard people talk about modern music being too boring or repetitive. 4-chord songs, 3-chord songs, 2-chord songs, etc. Usually people use this as a way to jab at pop music, but those people don't know what they're talking about. Pop or popular music is exactly that. Popular. This usually means catchy melodies, familiar instrumentation, and chord progressions that loop for easy listening with resolution. It's popular because a majority of people tend to like it. It's popular. But don't get it twisted, pop music has just as much complexity as any other genre. Specifically, the production of pop music is very interesting to me. Artists can toil for days, weeks, months over each specific element of production within a song. The harmony may be simpler, but the curation of the perfect synth tone or exact reverb time is much more important in that instance for that track. But that's not to say that pop music harmony can't be unexpected or complicated. Here's one of my favorite ways to spice up repetitive chord progressions, with chord extensions. Let's go. So what are chord extensions? Well, you take a normal chord. It's made up of thirds, 1, 3, 5, and then you just add more thirds on top. You've got 1, 3, 5, the 7th. Ooh, pretty. The 9th. Love that one. The 11th. Ooh, and 13th. Now we're getting wild. Here's a pretty common chord progression. It's a 6, 4, 1, 5. That means that in the key we're in this case A flat major, we're playing the chords that start on the 6th, which is F minor, the 4th, D flat, the 1st, A flat, and the 5th, E flat. I'm sure you've heard this before. Just one song that comes to mind. Okay, that sounds fine, but let's add the 7ths to every chord to see what changes in the character of the sound. So remember, even though our song is in a key, all these extensions are based off the root scale of each chord by themselves. So even though we're in the key of A flat major, we're going to use the notes of D flat major to figure out what the 7th note of that chord is going to be. Already so much more color and expression. Not to say that it's better necessarily, but very different, using the same chord progression. Now I'm going to mix which extensions I use for each chord. Yeah, I'm really digging that. Here's a pro tip. The notes you play are important, but the order you play them is just as important. This is called voice leading. Basically, instead of playing each chord in root position and moving all over the keyboard, we can keep all the chords in one spot by rearranging the notes. Ooh, that sounds intelligent. Now with our chords sounding nice, let's add another element of production, choosing the perfect sound for the chords. I use Kontakt for a lot of my sound libraries. There's a lot of fun sounds you can pick from, and it always sparks my creativity. But the Logic stock library is also a go-to, especially when I'm looking for crazy keyboard sounds. Yeah, I think I really like this dreamy, smooth Vox sound. Yeah, I love that attack. Let's add a few more instruments and elements to really solidify the vibe of the song. Cool, and this was a little bit of time. I took the chord progression, added a bunch of other stuff, drums, effects, bass, some horns that I thought were cool, and then a little melody on top. So here's what the whole thing sounds like. So that's what a basic progression sounds like, with a little spice, a little production, and a creative vision applied to it. Hopefully you noticed that the chords weren't really the star of the show, right? It was all these different production things that came in, right? Even from the arranging, starting with just drums and keyboard, bringing the bass in, then the horns, then we have our melody, not to mention these drum effects. These are reverse swells. So here's a regular swell with a lot of reverb on it, and then this is a chopped up reverse of that same sample. Again, ton of reverb, makes a really cool effect and a good transition from different sections. So these are little things that you may not even think about. I sidechained the chords on the keyboard. I bet you didn't even notice, right? Because it wasn't super obvious. But that's what I mean when I say pop can be just as complicated as other styles of music. I think it sounds great. I'm really happy with it. So remember, music theory shouldn't be scary. In fact, it could be the key to elevating your music into a new creative space. If you liked this video, I would really appreciate a like, subscribe to know when more videos like this come out. Every interaction helps me bring more easy to understand theory content to viewers just like you. If you're interested in seeing a breakdown of the other elements I added to the track, like the percussion, let me know in the comments. I'd love to go in and talk about that too. Thanks so much for watching, I'll see you in the next one.